Hi, Skip here again. I've got this blog, and of course the subject of branding, and a lot of good content, written material there. But I really needed to add this video to it and talk a little bit about this subject because it is such a live and big issue. It was very real. I talk with business people all the time, and I talk with a variety of backgrounds and what have you, people who are in business for themselves and have great products or represent great products and all the rest of it. And I find something very interesting. And I want to compare a couple of stats here just a little bit. It's true statistically that 96% of the people 96% of the people who go online to market a product or whatever will fail. They just do. That's the statistic. That means 4% actually succeed. Well, this is interesting because when I talk to these different business people, I can fairly quickly evaluate mindset, and it's interesting that 96% roughly, I don't know if this is a completely accurate statistic, but it's close, it's got to be, that 96% of the people don't have a mindset that opens the way towards real success and real income. About 4% of the business people and entrepreneurs that really do have that mindset ultimately succeed. There's a difference, there's a margin here. And the difference between one group and the other is a very simple thing. It's mindset. It is how we see things. It's your perception. And, I want to see people succeed. And I'll mention it again because I always talk about it, the fact that it's not about the money, it's about lifestyle. Money is necessary, it's important, you want a lot of it, that's great, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're pursuing just pursuing the money, that's kind of a misguided thing. If you're pursuing lifestyle and all that it brings, that's a good thing. And the fact that you can make a difference in life and enjoy all the fruits of your labor and all that kind of thing. So that's all good. But here's the thing. You'll see me in other videos and other places where I mention this, but it's important to just bring it up again. That I have this question I ask people. Can you see yourself making $10,000 a month? And when I ask that question, there's a lot of people who can say to themselves, well, yeah, maybe, and they'll kind of dance around a little bit. Some people will be fairly quick to say, yeah, that's possible, because that represents maybe just a little over $100,000 a month, or $100,000 a year. And people can kind of embrace that, and then there's a lot of people who do that in truth. But when I ask them if they can see themselves making $100,000 a month, they shut down. I mean, people have a barrier to that. And yeah, well, no, that's not going to be me and whatnot. And they just don't readily accept the idea of $100,000 a month. Who does that? And there's not very many people that make over $1 million a year. That's just hard for people to conceive. Well, here's the truth. That's a mindset. It's not about the money. It's a clear mindset. It is a choice to believe something and to believe something about who you are not. Now, this is part of my blog on branding. So what does all this have to do with brand? It has everything to do with brand. See, success in business is not your ability to sell a product. It's not. It's about brand. The biggest success that you'll ever know will come to you because of brand. Branding is everything. All of this is going to make sense, and I want you to stick with me through this entire video because I'm really touching on some important things, and I want you to really reflect on this and think about it. I had a conversation, several conversations actually, with one individual over this past weekend. And we had a great conversation. We talked about a lot of things, had some things in common and whatnot, so it was a fun conversation. But during the course of this conversation, this gal revealed a number of things about her life, things that she's done, that she's accomplished, that she's enjoyed over time, and just all this stuff. She has a story to tell, an amazing story to tell. And if you put it all down and look at it, you see from that story a character, a person, a real individual who has had lots of experience, who has gained knowledge and talent and all the rest of it. And in the process has evolved as a truly great person, just a nice person to know. And so she's revealing all of this, we're comparing stories and whatnot, not realizing what all that represented relative to the concept of a brand. Now, if you have somebody that you get to know real well, you know their story, you know who they are, you know their background, and you get to know them, and they're somebody who's likable and talented and all those kinds of things, you're likely to interact with that person. You might even be likely, if that person is selling something, to want to buy what they've got, because you trust them, you get to know them, you understand their story. But if you're talking with someone who has no real story, who's just kind of a blank page, and is doing nothing but in-your-face selling, you're less likely to buy from that person. Well, you've got one brand you don't know anything about, you don't know that you can trust, and you have another brand of someone who you feel you know and you can trust. There's the barrier difference. That recognizing your story and who you are is a big deal. And this particular individual, if she wanted to really go for it and develop her brand, she could sell anything she wants. She could have command over her income and the rest of it. And this whole world is laying out there for her. Amazing what she could do if she really wanted to. Now, she's happy with what she's got doing, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if she chose to move forward, she's got a story to tell. Now, why is this so important? Because if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you have a story to tell, whether you know it or not. You have a story to tell. We all have a story to tell. That story becomes, you can mold that story into a whole perspective of what you're all about and why you are an individual that people can identify with and trust and want to have some relationship with it. And if it's in the area of commerce, you're willing to buy from this person because you know them and you trust them. This is the essence of a brand. This is the genesis of a brand. Branding is everything. I can't put enough emphasis on the importance of understanding branding. Look at Amazon. It's a great example. Amazon is a brand. It's not a product. Now, for whatever the reason, you don't look at Amazon and attach a specific personality to that or individual. But you do attach an understanding that this is a successful entity, that you buy from them and they deliver, they stand behind their product, and you can get good deals and all that stuff. So you buy from them. But understand, they are a brand. They're not a product. Now, they have products to sell and all that, so there's a combination of things going on there, but principally they're a brand and a great example. So, how can we become, for example, an individual Amazon? How can we become a brand that people will trust and they'll want to purchase what we have? Now, if you're really if you get this mindset that you can do it, that you can be more, that you can have more, you can do more, I can't tell you how important this is. And you got to tune into this. You got to tune into the reality of what works in business and what works for you. Now, you have dreams, you have wishes, you have desires, you have things that you want in life. And I don't know many people who don't. But where do you step from having a wish or a desire, a goal in life? Where do you step from there to making forward progress where you can actually manifest that stuff in your life? What's the bridge? The bridge is real simple. It's a choice. See, life is about choices. You are who you are today because of choices you've made. And the choices that you've made in the past line up with the choices you make today and give you the choices of tomorrow. And if you really understand the concept of having choice, maybe you'll start making a few choices. And you start to look at your life. Examine, for example, sit down with a pad and paper. Take a pencil and a white or a yellow pad, whatever, and start writing down your history. Who are you? What have you done? What are some of your experiences? What are some of the great moments of your life? Reflect on who you are, because what you're doing is you're examining your brand. You are a brand. And I can't make this point firm enough. I just can't. Because the 96% of people who fail don't recognize brand. They don't recognize themselves and who they are and what they're capable of. They have no idea. The 4% who actually make it, they don't even question. They don't have a mindset that says they can't. It's a choice. What do you want to believe? Who are you and what do you want to believe of yourself and what you're capable of? Don't let your past failures and the things that you're not dictate who you will be. Don't let that happen. Look at the things that you've done. Look at some accomplishments. Look at who you are and the pride that you can take in yourself if you make those choices. And the world is your oyster. You can have anything you want. I love the phrase of Zig Ziglar, who is one of the greatest motivational speakers and successes in history. A great guy, amazing person. And he said many times, you can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. Well, what if you open yourself up, realize who you are, and start making a difference in your world, your sphere? You have a sphere of influence, whether you know it or not. Now, what's that influence look like? Are you influencing people to be just another drone, just another individual, a person in the crowd with no name, no particular place? Or do you recognize that you, in fact, have a story to tell? That you are more than just the failures that you might have had in life. That there's some successes, there's some experiences, there's things that you've had to overcome. There's just a long list of components to who you are and what your brand is all about. Again, I can't spend enough time on this subject. In talking to this individual, I did this last weekend. She had an amazing story and so many experiences. And it would be so easy to write a whole history of who she is. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to write a little dossier that has that breaks down every little thing you've ever done. But your experiences can come to life in the form of an individual who can be trusted, an individual who can be a trusted resource. That's a brand. That in itself is a brand. So I want to put a lot of emphasis on this. And as you read the rest of this blog and whatnot, there's some other details there that you can read. But I can't make this big enough. I just can't. I can't overexpress it. That if you really want to succeed in business, you need a brand. In order to be a brand, you have to recognize the brand. You have to recognize who you are as a part of that brand. You have to recognize what you bring to the table and what you can bring to the table. Now, here's another step in this process. If you really don't believe and you know who you are and see that picture, what if there was a program that helped you reprogram your thinking, gave you examples, real life examples, that by listening to it you could start to absorb who you really are, what's possible. And the fact that no matter who you are, there's such a thing as overcoming the things that not necessarily great in your life, overcoming the challenges and deficits, and that. What if you have tools to overcome those things and become that person that you've always wanted to be? That 4% that believe they can. That 4% that come to a place that know that there are no limits unless we put them on ourselves. What if you could be unlimited in your thinking about who you are, what you're capable of? This is where I've been doing online marketing and whatnot for a lot of years. I wrote my first book on it, I don't know, over 20 years ago, when it was just emerging. I've watched this, I followed it, and there is one program. I can't overstate this. There's one program I've come across that is a platform that doesn't just give you the dots and the connection and the bits and pieces of technical knowledge and do this, do that. This program addresses mindset, understanding who you are, how you develop from who you are now to who you can be, all of it. Step by step, in-depth information and training that can change your life. Now, most of that training is contained in about 30 sessions. Those 30 sessions, well, anybody that can do those 30 sessions, frankly, in 30 days is incredible. It takes a real dedication to do that. It might take you 2 months. It might take you 6 months. I don't know. But let me ask you this. If you could tap into something that following and learning from whatever that entity is, okay, if you could tap into something that would give you the knowledge and ability to move forward within a 6 month to a year period at a minimal investment, far less, pennies on the dollar. People get a college education and they go out and they never actually work in the field that they were trained in. They spend their life trying to pay off college debts. This is not about anything like that. This is about something that pays itself back as you learn, progressively as you learn. If you could do 6 months to a year of absorbing information that truly is life-changing, and that from that point forward live a life that is financially free, have time freedom to make choices. It's all about choice. That you could become a brand that people trust, that you could market anything you want to market, that you could be all you want to be and more. Have choices in life, have life experiences, and then be able to spread that and help others do the same. What would it be worth? Every time I ask that a question of an individual, they say, yeah, of course it'd be worth it to do that. That's what I'm talking about ultimately. Now, the branding is so important. You've got to first believe in yourself, but what I'm talking about actually includes education that helps you understand you as a brand, because you as a brand are one of the most important things on earth. There's only one of you. No one can duplicate you. You are individual, you are unique. So how do you stand out against the millions of people that are getting into business and doing what you want to do? You have to put yourself out as a brand, because you're the only brand like it. You are the only you. God made you unique to anybody else on planet Earth that has been, is, or will be. You are you. You are an individual. Embrace that. Learn that. So what I want you to do, I want you to do this. I want you to examine that, look in your heart, say, am I capable? Do I want something more? Is it possible that maybe I could step up to another level in life? And whether you succeed in making 100,000 a year, or 1,000,000 a year, or whatever, doesn't matter. But if you can improve your circumstance and put yourself in a position where life is comfortable, I mean, you can go from there, and if you want to continue to grow beyond whatever, great. But what if you could put yourself in a place where you could have choice in life? Simple choice. You want to, I live in Phoenix, and it gets to be kind of hot in Phoenix. I mean, when it's 120 out, you stay to the air conditioning. And I can't tell you, when you drive the Highway 17, up to Flagstaff is about an hour and a half away from where we live. Here's the reality. If we want to go get 20 degrees cooler, we're going to get on the road and head to Flagstaff, right? Well, it's interesting, there's a whole lot of people on the road to Flagstaff. So you have to also make the decision to deal with some traffic. Traffic to get there, traffic to get home, to get that 20 degrees cooler. But you know what? We can make that choice. And we can do it, if we want to, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We don't have to be on the weekends with everybody else. What if you have the ability to make choices in your life, enjoy life and the things it has, embrace the things that are good, and do things on your own time schedule? Not because all these people who have hourly wages and look forward to the weekend, you don't have to stay in that niche. Have choice. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to go where you want to, when you want to? If you want to get an RV and travel around a little bit, if you want to do whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. You want to pursue a hobby that you've always wanted to do? Give yourself a platform, a base to operate from, that you've got the choices to do that. You've got certain passions in life. You want to learn an instrument. You want to do whatever it is. You've got choices. I can't encourage you enough. I want you to. I'm going to put a link in this blog. That link is going to take you to a page, and it's going to have a webinar on it. Go through, register for the webinar. When you register for the webinar, it's going to take you through a process of give you a vision of what you can do and what's possible. And there's going to be an offer in it. Now, it's free training. It's about 2 hours of free training relative to marketing online and how you succeed. It's all those things. It's amazing content, actionable stuff. Free training that most people would pay a couple $1,000s for the content that's in it, and learn a blueprint for success. It's all free. Now, there's going to be an offer in there. I mean, certainly. And the offer is going to be to really engage yourself in a concentrated program with 30 sessions that will absolutely change your life and give you lifetime choice of what you want to do and who you want to be. I want to encourage you, just go to the webinar. And go there. If you like it, great. If you get something out of it, great. Take notes, learn something. You can't, there's nothing you can lose. Nothing you can lose. And you can opt in or not or whatever, that's up to you. But take the time to do that. Now I'm going to put, if you're watching this video, you're already in my blog. So you can look through, and I've got lots of information in here and things to look at and to consider and whatnot. And welcome to the party. I hope I have the opportunity to get to know you. And please, so important, so big on my heart, that I can see a few people realize who they are. Grab hold of it. Become that brand. Realize the success that you really have. There's no reason you can't have it. If I know that there's been a change, that you felt it, you realized it, there's something new in your life, that's my biggest payday. Sure, there's money involved. That's all a good thing. But my biggest payday is knowing that you succeeded. And when you put yourself in the same position, knowing that you made a difference, that's a different way to live. It's a different way to live. So go to the site. I don't want to keep this going on. I could ramble on forever. But go to the site. Click on the link and check it out, because it's life-changing. If you really decide you want to do something with your life, life-changing. This is the most important blog. This branding issue is so big. It's the most important one that I can put out there, because it speaks to something that is so rudimentary, so fundamental. So thank you for taking the time to wade through this video and my rambling, and take action. You will never move unless you move. You'll never be active unless you take action. So do that. Thank you. Thank you for putting up with my time and my rambling. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.